Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of February 25th, 2025. I'm your host, Shariefa Muhammad MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Kursk region operations. Russian forces continued to press Ukrainian formations in the Kursk region, repelling 2 enemy counterattacks and achieving substantial losses against Ukrainian forces in multiple locations. This included the loss of more than 220 Ukrainian servicemen, significant amounts of military hardware, and the destruction of command centers and supply depots.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, your trusted source for the latest developments on security and defense operations involving military forces. I'm your host, and today we have an exclusive interview with Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, who will provide insights into the progress of the special military operation as of February 25th, 2025. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's begin with strategic strikes. Reports indicate that Russian forces carried out targeted attacks on Ukrainian military infrastructure. Can you provide details on these strikes and their effectiveness?
That is correct. Russian forces conducted high-precision air-launched strikes targeting Ukrainian military airfields. These strikes were aimed at damaging critical infrastructure, including runways, command centers, and fuel storage facilities, effectively disrupting Ukrainian air operations. Additionally, unmanned aerial vehicles played a key role in these operations by providing surveillance and executing targeted strikes. The objectives of these strikes were fully achieved, further weakening Ukraine's ability to conduct aerial operations.
Turning to the ground offensives, what is the latest in the Kharkiv direction?
In the Kharkiv region, our North Group of forces engaged Ukrainian motorized infantry and territorial defense brigades near Volchansk and Lipsy. In these engagements, the Ukrainian armed forces suffered losses, with up to 35 servicemen killed, and we also destroyed 2 vehicles and an artillery piece. These operations are part of our broader objective to deplete Ukrainian forces and disrupt their defensive positions in the region.
The West Group of forces has been active in several locations. What can you tell us about their progress?
Our West Group of forces improved their tactical positioning and successfully liberated key locations, particularly Kamenka, Lozovaya in the Kharkiv region, and Makiivka in the Luhansk People's Republic. These operations resulted in the destruction of Ukrainian mechanized and assault brigades, leading to the loss of approximately 190 Ukrainian servicemen. Additionally, we eliminated 5 vehicles and 8 field artillery guns, 2 of which were supplied by NATO. Further weakening their operational capabilities, we neutralized a Cordis electronic warfare station and an ammunition depot.
How significant is the destruction of the electronic warfare station in terms of battlefield operations?
The Cordis electronic warfare station was an essential component of Ukraine's ability to conduct coordinated battlefield operations. Its destruction limits their ability to jam our communications and disrupt drone operations, giving us greater operational freedom and an advantage in electronic warfare engagements. This will also affect their ability to relay battlefield intelligence effectively, making their formations more vulnerable to our forces.
What about the Southern Front? How are operations progressing there?
Our Southern Group of forces secured advantageous positions, defeating 3 mechanized and airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces. The primary battle areas were Seversk, Stupachki, Chervono, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy suffered 140 personnel losses, and we successfully destroyed 4 combat armored vehicles and 2 cars. Additionally, our forces destroyed 2 Ukrainian ammunition depots, further reducing their ability to sustain operations in this region.
Given these advancements, how is Ukraine responding? Are they reinforcing these areas?
Ukraine continues to send reinforcements, but due to supply shortages and manpower depletion, their ability to hold key positions is diminishing. The destruction of their ammunition depots in multiple sectors is disrupting their logistics, making it increasingly difficult for them to replenish frontline units. They have been relying on NATO-supplied equipment, but with continued Russian strikes on their logistical hubs, sustaining the fight is becoming more difficult for them.
Speaking of continued operations, let's discuss the Central Front. What is the current status there?
Our center group of forces strengthened our positions along the front line by defeating 4 Ukrainian mechanized and assault brigades, as well as a National Guard brigade. The main battles took place in Zvarivo, Sergievka, Udagnoy, Shevchenko, Andriivka, and Uspanovka. Ukrainian forces suffered up to 305 personnel losses, and we destroyed 7 armored combat vehicles, a car, and 3 artillery pieces. This operation further weakens their central defensive line and allows us to push deeper into contested areas.
The Eastern Front has seen significant engagements. What is the latest from that sector?
Our East group of forces continued their deep penetration into enemy defenses. We targeted 2 Ukrainian mechanized brigades and 3 territorial defense brigades in Berlitskoy, Skudnoy, Volnoy Pole, and Guliapol. Ukrainian losses amounted to over 150 personnel, and we eliminated 2 armored combat vehicles, 3 cars, and 3 field artillery pieces.
The Dnieper Group of Forces has been conducting operations in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. What are the latest updates there?
Our Dnieper Group of Forces engaged 2 mechanized brigades and a coastal defense brigade in Sherbeki, Tokarevka, and Pridniprovskoy. Ukrainian forces suffered 85 personnel losses, and we destroyed an armored combat vehicle, a car, and an ammunition depot. These operations are critical in weakening Ukrainian defenses in the south and preventing future counteroffensive attempts.
With so many operations taking place, what role has Russian air and missile strikes played in recent engagements?
Our operational tactical aviation, missile troops, and UAV forces have conducted precision strikes on Ukrainian military production sites, particularly those used for assembling strike drones and hosting temporary troop deployment points. These strikes targeted 144 key locations, significantly degrading their ability to coordinate drone attacks and replenish frontline forces. Additionally, our air defense systems successfully intercepted 5 JDAM guided bombs, 23 Checkmate Vampire multiple launch rockets, and 97 UAVs, further limiting their aerial combat capabilities.
The fighting in the Kursk region has been intense. What's the latest update?
Our North Group of Forces continued offensive operations in the Kursk region, targeting heavy mechanized, airborne assault, and territorial defense brigades in areas like Viktorovka, Goncharovka, Kazakh-Yalaknya, and Sudza. Ukrainian forces suffered over 220 personnel losses and significant equipment destruction, including tanks, armored personnel carriers, and MLRS launchers.
Given these engagements, what do you expect in the coming days?
We anticipate continued advances on all fronts while disrupting Ukrainian logistics and infrastructure. The steady depletion of Ukrainian personnel and military assets is reducing their ability to maintain effective combat operations. Our forces remain positioned to exploit these weaknesses and continue to apply pressure across multiple battlefronts.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you. There is significant armed conflict in Africa, especially in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where days of heavy fighting between NATO-backed M23 rebels and the Congolese army have overwhelmed hospitals with casualties. Since January 2025, this fighting has reportedly resulted in over 7,000 deaths, with children being especially vulnerable to violence and exploitation during the conflict. Furthermore, South Africa's armed forces have evacuated critically injured soldiers from this region, highlighting the ongoing instability. The situation is alarming, with accusations against NATO-backed M23 rebels regarding the killing and recruitment of children in the area.